All right, let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, just let me know. Um,
Very clear, I can see it.
okay, okay. Yeah, so thank you. Right, so let's get started. Right, we having a little bit of like it's more or less like a workshop, right? So that you just get like insight into how to set up WordPress on your laptop um, without having to buy a domain or anything. One of the things that people have complained the most about this is because whenever they go on YouTube to learn more about WordPress, they're being told, "Oh, you need to buy a domain, you need to do this," or entry to be like a undertaking for them to say, "Oh, I want to learn this thing. I want to pay extra to extra to get a domain or hosting," right? So, but what we're trying to do today is learn the basics. How do we get started on what with regards to WordPress and website development? So, your mainly this is for small business owners, freelancers, students, and if you're curious, so you might not really need some level of like coding. It's not required for sure. We have um, so one of the key things you know about WordPress is that it powers at least more than 40% of the internet. And for you to understand how that matrix sound is that when you look at, we can look at Nigeria, we can use Nigeria as a case study here and see, okay, you'd see that the State House is using WordPress for their websites. Most Nigerian parastatals use WordPress for their websites. Obviously, sometimes they don't look great just because of maybe the level of effort or the people who handle it. But WordPress is really the go-to when it comes to website development now. A lot of persons whom I also know moved from like hand coding, code websites and stuff like that, and then using WordPress. There are other as well with Framer and the rest, but this gives you more ownership to your website, if that makes sense. So I just had to put in this statistics there so you just know like how powerful the software is. So you could create anything log to an e-commerce, literally anything that you trying to do. So that's the WordPress. So you don't necessarily need to, like I mentioned, need no coding to an extent, but you just you're able to put out your vision and other things out there. So what makes it work is that WordPress is open source, it's free to use. So there are no fees. If I want to go and download the core software, there are no fees. They don't tell me, oh, you need to pay to use this. The alternatives, you need to pay to use the alternatives in a sense. They also have free plans anyway. But WordPress, it's free and open source, which means that you can use it for your practicals. You can do anything that you want to do as long as it's within the legal means. Anyway, so point here is that it's endlessly extendable. Back during WordCamp, I mentioned that there are stuff called plugins. So those plugins help you just extend functionality. What functionality are you looking for? Are you looking for stories, or are you looking for a platform functionality on your website? You could see 2001 contact form plugins that you could use free of charge to do what you want. And if you need to extending it also means that you would know some level of code. That's, by the way, for the basic things you want to, you can do that for free. Okay, so another thing as well to note is that there's 1,001 themes for you to use. There's 1,001 themes for you to use in terms of like development. So now let's we've done a little. Let's go straight to the tools that we are going to use. So one of the tools that we're going to use is called a local. There are several types of this local, right? The local server runs on your laptop. It just helps you display the website on your laptop. Um, for some reason, if you don't have this, right, you're not going to be able to see as you see them online. This basically helps you to do is to be able to preview your website. And you can install and do other things you need to do on your laptop with going to get a domain or hosting for this. So someone said, I would like to ask if it's possible to get. So yeah, by God's grace. So recording actually right now. I'm recording actually by right now. So hopefully we recording out. If you're on the group, we'll be able to send the recording or the link on the group and via the Meetup platform. So the platforms work. Like I mentioned, we make use of local servers. And there are different types. There is one called XAMPP. Let me see. There's one called XAMPP, one called WAMP. I think they also have as well. But the particular one I'm using right now is local WP. That's what it's called. Local WP. XAMPP. This is WAMP. This is WAMP. So these are the OGs. The OGs recording with us. So yeah, I think I want ask a question in the recording. Yes, the recording will be shared. The recording will be shared with everyone. Like I mentioned, the WhatsApp platform and the WhatsApp platform and the Meetup platform. So those are the two places. I'm not in a group. So okay, what you can do, right? What you can do is search for WordPress Port Harcourt. Join the Meetup group. Join the Meetup group. You on the welcome email, you would see our WhatsApp link to join the group. That's all I can say. I think one or more persons want to join. Well, sorry. Okay, so like I was saying, XAMPP. It's one of what's happening. Apologies, guys. This is one of the issues with this platform. So we have XAMPP, like I was saying, there is WAMP. So for these are the local servers we were using from then, but we now have this local W, courtesy of the engine. So what it actually it's beginner friendly for. It's beginner friendly for other servers that I mentioned. There is some level of text that has to go like with setting it up. But for this, you just click install, comes up, and you're able to just like set up your website. So I would share the link as well with the email. I'll be sending out the link as well so that you can get the link to download local WP. But in case you just want to get access to this local WP, you can just search online. It's free to download. Local WP, you can see the software. You download the version for your PC. You could be using a Mac laptop or Windows laptop. I'm using a laptop, so good to download. So how it is to just set up WordPress and websites on this local? It's very easy. You'd see the button on the left hand side, on the left hand sidebar. You'd see that says add light, and on here to spin up a website is just pretty much very easy than the gymnastics you're going to do for other local servers. So create a new website. I can go straight to create a new website. I can enter any name I want to enter. The name of the web case, I'm just going to I'm just use tutorial preferred. This is the server the server is going to use. There's no need to make any alteration unless you've become technical. You've got with selecting like the architecture and stuff that you want to use for your website. So we can go to the next, choose our username and password. For this, I'll still use tutorial. So for username and password is to use something that you can remember, but difficult for us to guess. Using this because we are just having like a workshop, right? So just have to put the disclaimer there that you need to use a strong password. So when I click on add new websites, it's going to start creating the folders, and it's also going to automatically download WordPress and install it for me. So I don't need to do all that. With the previous web servers, you would have to go through all that stress to do all that, but it just makes it easier for you to just install WordPress, and we can now get started with what we're doing. So once this process is done, we can get access to the WordPress dashboard and see what it looks like. So I think a couple of persons are joined. I think a couple of persons joined the meeting. Okay, Uche said, I'm just seeing your question. So what the server I'm using is local WP. Local WP. So it's by WP Engine, so you can be able to download that. But anyway, this is going on. Is there anyone who had questions so far? Any questions? And I'm not moving too fast. If you have questions, you can raise your hand, or you can drop your questions in the chat. So no questions. That means we are following, with the whole thing. Why is this taking time? Slowing it down. Okay. It's taking quite a while to setting up file service. Okay. A couple of persons joined us while we were going through the walkthrough. Mr. Godwin, you're welcome. Mr. Steve, you're welcome. Who else am I missing? Chijindu. Chijindu, you're welcome as well. And I think one other person. Okay. I think someone is. So hold on. All right, Mr. Team, you're welcome. We are waiting for our um, local server to be done installing, uh, so we can get on with the workshop. Give or take. I think I started this 3 minutes ago, so you should. Is it also 3 minutes or more than that? But it should be able to be done with that. So, but while this is happening in the background, let's go over. Let's go over slides. Okay. Okay. So here is what we are doing, right? Aside this particular part that talks about the hosting and domain, aside the part that talks about the hosting and domain, what we are doing is we are going through the installation process. The installation process is what we are going through right now. The installation process. After the installation process, we look at the dashboard. We look at the dashboard in detail. Also, it will be something that you will also need to do on your own as well to know the nooks and crannies and ins and outs of the dashboard, because there is quite like a whole lot of things to talk about regarding the dashboard. So that we will not take our time for the day, because we need to move a little bit faster. Would explore themes, we'll explore pages, posts, and just essential plugins that we'll need. So we'll just have to do that, and make some progress today, even if we don't complete, because I'm just looking at the timing, so we don't stay too long. We started 7:30. So at 9, and at least by 9 we should be able to make headway. We should be able to be around post and main kind of. So WordPress. Okay, so I think it'll soon be done. Why as well, we are still waiting for that the installation to be completed. Let's talk about posts. We can talk about posts, pages, appearances, and plugins and settings. Okay, dashboard. So one of the I want to differentiate here, because a lot of persons don't know the difference between hosting and a domain. For people who are getting started with website development, they always ask, "Oh, what's the difference between a hosting? What's the difference between a domain?" So the simple analogy I can use here is, imagine you have a house in an estate. Your house, that means your furniture, different things that you with. House is your thing. Your home holds all the files, like the pictures, images, CSS, HTML, etc. Your house, all the same. That's the same thing that the hosting is in this case. For people to visit you at your house, friends want to come over, relatives want to visit you, you have to give them an address, right? You have to give them an address to visit you. Ordinarily, have been people known as giving out IP addresses to people, but advancement in technology made it possible that we are able to type in alphabets. We are able to type in alphabet and visit the actual website. Okay, so the address you're giving to whomever you want to visit you or to is your domain. Is basically your domain. So you're giving it to them. Now, without that particular address you give them, it's not possible for them to. Without that address you're giving to them, it's not possible to locate you. So, okay. So, like I was saying, it's not possible for them to locate you. They don't have that. That's what your domain. That's your domain in this case. So, I think we should be done with this. Okay. So we are done installing. We are done installing the test website tutorial. You can see that it just did all the heavy lifting for us. I think it's about 7 minutes, give or take 7 to 10 minutes for the whole installation. So all we just needed to do is to enter the information, and we are here. So now the admin. So I'm going to click. So this is the username we are using here. So to access the dashboard, I'm clicking on the admin. Okay, so it's just going to automatically log us into the dashboard, the website. So this page loads, right, it's going to give us a brief layout of like what it looks like on the back end of a WordPress website. So when you install the WordPress website, this is version 7.0, and when you get in like a whole lot of things, sometimes it's overwhelmed with the here, but it's like pretty much simple if you just look at it. So on the surface, you're seeing posts, you're seeing media. Of course, you already know that when you just see media, you know that okay, images or audio or videos go here. So you just know that media, that's what it is. Pages, comments, appearance, plugins, users, self-explanatory. You know that that's where you manage users on your website. Tools and settings last. Okay, so on our what is it called, let's go back on our slide, right? Posts take care of your blog entries. You see most of these websites that you see editors or tutorials use, like Vanguard, Times. There is daily posts. They're all WordPress websites. So all those news articles that you go to read, they are posts in there. They are just like blog entries. So go to posts, you can see something like this. I think someone else is trying to join. So sorry guys. Just want to. All right, so this is a post. If you want to preview what this is going to look like on the front end, we can click. Notice where I clicked on view. See the front end. This it looks. It's just plain and just normal. It doesn't look like anything special is going on here. So as you see here, we just have a header and text, other things in there. So website page is just it's like an evergreen kind of content. Okay. So pages itself is more like evergreen kind of content. Like what my slide says, it's timeless. It's timeless, and you're seeing there it's stuff around your home, your about, your services, your contact form. Okay. So you'd see, excuse me, so you see stuff like this. Those pages, those individual pages that are designed, they are called pages basically. They're called pages basically. So I think I can use let me use this website, custodian uh, custodian investment. Just to give you a brief idea of like websites built with um, WordPress. Okay. So you see that big companies out there do source for developers who can actually help them, build their websites, as the case might be. So apologies, my network is a little bit slow this evening, this evening, so do bear with me. Bear with me. Open this up. So, but why does okay. So we have this site here. So this was developed on WordPress. Okay, this was developed on WordPress. There is a second one I wanted to show. This was all WordPress. So basically, if someone designs something on Figma, you can actually develop exactly what that person. You can actually translate what that person has done on Figma to WordPress. So, WordPress is a very very like good tool. Good tool if you ask me. This is also WordPress as well. Designed on Figma and then developed on WordPress. So you see how neat and interactive it is. So you see that WordPress has the power to give you this. Ordinarily, when you're looking at some websites like this, you don't even know that it's WordPress. It was developed or designed with using WordPress. So, but I just had to pull that up to show you like a finished product WordPress, because if I tell you to go to any of the government websites to go and check it, it might be a bad example of it might be a bad example of what WordPress. So I had to do this example what WordPress can do. So basically we are going to touch on themes. Okay, so let's touch on themes. Comments, I would say self-explanatory. When you have comments on posts, that's where you manage your comments. You can delete, you can report it. Is it mark as spam? You can mark it as spam or something. Yeah. So themes, what are themes, right? Themes generally talks about the look and feel of your website. In as much as themes are there, it's not really like the finished product or the finished result of things. You have to build on top of the themes. Some persons like using like the, what they call it, are these core themes? Yeah, some people like using the core themes, right? And some people, they are paid themes, they are paid themes, they are free themes. So if I want to install a new theme, you can see that the theme that was here initially, it was just there, it was just bland. So if I want to install a new theme, it could be related to anything I want to do. It could be, oh, I'm working on an online store, I want to create an online store, or I'm creating a business website for somebody. There are so many themes for you to use. And that's the beauty of WordPress. So many themes for you to use, so many functionalities. The only question you need to ask is, what do you want to do? Right? That's the only question you need to answer. What do you want to do? And you're able to just like carry those things out. So here we have a couple of themes, free themes that you can install. I'm just trying to see which one to just pick, so we'll just go with it. So we have this. We have this. We can go with this. Hopefully, is or we can use it. Hopefully it's compatible with Elementor. So now Elementor, to give you an answer, Elementor is a page builder that you use on WordPress. Those websites I showed you earlier on, they were built using Elementor on WordPress. Elementor is one of those plugins that you use to extend the functionality of your website. Okay, so Elementor is a page builder. There are other page builders. There are so many other page builders as well. In the past, a lot of people, a lot of us, we were using WP Bakery until Elementor came to save us. Elementor came to save us. So, but there are other page builders. So, one of the things that I would tell you about WordPress is that you need to, on your own, think and try out things, right? Only when you try out things that you get to find out like how they behave, if this is something that you can actually use for or use for your personal use, whatever the case might be. So here you have a notification. We installed a new theme, right? We are going for a new look and feel. Remember the previous thing that when we looked at the posts, you recall the post that we previewed, you see how bland it was. So we've installed a theme now, and what they're basically telling us here is that there are pre-designed sites here that we can actually explore and look at. Okay, so reason why you want to go this route, maybe you don't have a lot to think about or to make a design. Okay, depending, I would say again, depending on the project you're working on. Okay, so they have stuff that pre-designed themes that we can install to enhance the look at the website. So that's what we are doing now. We are in plugin that will help us do that. You're installing so once it's done, we can take a look at the different pre-designed sites that they have. They could have pre-designed websites for authors, bookshops, as the case might be. Okay, so there are about 23 here, if I'm not mistaken. They have, so the number reduced when it switched to Elementor. The number reduced when I switched to Elementor. So I'm going to go here. So here you have business portfolio. I don't know. It's just there, but we can manage. So let me see. So we have like 4 options of things that we can use. Go with this. Let's go with this. So I'm going to go with the fourth option. Let's say I'm working for a legal firm. I'm working for a legal firm and I need to design a website for them. Some of these chambers and people that don't have websites, I could easily just get this stuff, change the content, the pictures, the copy, do that, and this is just for educational purposes, because some persons actually want you to do some level of line, and well, it's their money that determines that. If they pay good money, you could do UI UX design for them, and then before you do your development. So those are the two cases. The two use cases I mentioned here, clients now, is the 2 use cases is one, we want you to build a website batch, and doing like you have to do a UX design for them. So that you're going to actually charge extra money for that. But in the case that you want a website and it's something to easily do with a template or a theme that you find online, and you go ahead and give them a good design for their money. Of course, they're paying for a service. So I click on the fourth option. The fourth option that we're going with, what it's actually doing is that it's installing required plugins that it needs. So everything on WordPress revolves around plugins, revolves around themes. You'll be hearing EB a lot as we move through this series. As with this series, you'll be hearing it a whole plugin. So that's why it was important that we addressed what plugins are and what will be used for over the of this series. Yeah, is a series because the next class also is a continuation. The next class is a continuation of oh my god, can you imagine? Ah, bloody hell. Apologies, guys. I think my browser shut down. I'm trying to restart it. Just hold on. Okay, so I think all right. Sorry for the king transmission. Um, where were we? Uh, Up again. So we were trying to install a theme just to look at the changes that we're going to have on it. Share my screen. Okay. So it's done. Um, it's done, and the content is being imported. Okay. So this is what it looks like currently. I think once the content is all imported rather, it's going to have a different look and feel different from what we were seeing earlier. So it's 28. Okay. So this is what we have now. This is what we have now. Let's see what it's going to give us. So briefly, like why this is going on, so we don't like, so this thing doesn't take of our time or take up our time. Um, I just want to explain other concepts as well. We've talked about hosting and domain, and then let's on the website right now. Let's talk about headers and footers. We talk about headers. So one of the things I tell people, if you're getting website development or stuff, I always tell them is to look at the website as blocks, right? The way you have your tables, your the way you have your tables or your spreadsheet, just look at the website the same way. Your spreadsheet is basically going to have a header, going to have a footer. Like if you're that advanced to design your spreadsheet on every site, everywhere, all around the world, you always have a header, and that has several elements to it. It has the logo, menu or navigation menu, whatever you want to call it. Some do have bars, just like we're seeing right here. Just like what we're seeing here, it has a search bar, and this is the menu. For some reason, it's a pop-out menu that it has. Is this okay? This is not off canvas, but pop-out menu. It's a pop-out menu. Really. So, some websites like the reference website pulled up a navigation menu in the middle. Depending on how the design determines the position of the elements. So just note that they are blocks inside. Look at them as tiny blocks, a bigger one, right? So what I mean by this is, you see tutorial is one block, which is column. We call it columns anyway. We call this a column, and this is occupying a column, and the entire container that houses the logo and the other elements is the row. It's called a row. So the same thing applies to the footer. The footer has elements. For this is not complete yet. This is just what we have on this footer is just the copyright information and credits on the right hand side. So excuse me, you have credits on the right hand side. So for footers have several go about it and design as the case might be. So forward, as during the course of this series, we'll be and footers. I already have a video that we can share on how on the website a footer. I think one of our members surprised me one of the days. She sent back, and she was doing it. She shared like what the process was for her, right? And the fact that she was able to design all that, it made me feel good that someone was following along. At least she went back to do her own, to do a little bit of work on her own. So I mean, that's something that is allowed, right? Right. So this is taking a whole lot of our time. We can skip this. And keep moving and continue. Was anything clock here? So so the next thing we'll touch on is plugins. So remember how I told you that they are just mini apps, okay? They're just mini apps that help you achieve something on the website. So right now we have several plugins here, and these plugins was installed when this is complete. So now remember, this is what we have. What we did, the whole we did right now was import the demo content. So just for demo, we imported the demo content. So what's going to happen now with demo content is that going to change the look and feel. Sorry. Okay, so it's going to change the look and feel of the home page as we see it. So this is what we have. When we refresh, at least we have something different from this. What this is. Okay, so let's moment to load. I think I have some background that's making my laptop lag a bit. Okay. So this is a demo content, and why I call it demo content is just there. Sometimes it doesn't really make sense. Sometimes they use lorem ipsum for the text. Let me see if they used lorem ipsum for text and some other areas, right? So you'd see that it makes sense. So all the things is just a folder that you can build on. You already have this that you can substitute, add your logo, your menu. You can substitute this, add your menu, and okay, your menu, whatever. If you don't want to be here, you can remove it. So that's how flexible it is for people to actually go from 0 to 100. Say, oh, I want to design a website. I want to design a landing page. A landing page is basically a one page website that has your information of your business, whatever it is that you're doing. So you see how neat and put together. So this is basically a team allowed us to put together this look and that you see here. So you see that initially we had nothing here. Of course, we could go through the route of doing it, the hard of doing headers, creating section, all that, which are things that we can touch along the way. But for the sake of the section, we are having to just touching on different aspects to understand, what are the functions, what can we actually get from this. We would go deeper into the other areas regarding this. We'll go deeper into all the other areas regarding this. Editing the text, how to edit the text, how to substitute all the out, or even your option of like changing the colors. You don't like the colors, how do you change the colors? And so we are going to touch all that in subsequent sections that we're going to have. There's a lot here. This is the contact page. I think the contact page should just be like the normal page. It should have a form. Or not. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't have a form yet, but I think the form should be somewhere. So form functionality, we also need a plugin for that. For form functionality, we also need a plugin for that. So whatever it is you need, there are plugins that can help you achieve that. So I think we'll be putting together like about like the plugin and the rest, so that you have to like go through these things on your own. Okay, basically we just in this stuff and have this. You can attest that at least is decent. At least it's decent and it looks nice too. So that's the power of WordPress. Really saying much. So we touch on plugins, and I think we would touch on plugins. There's a couple of things we'll touch on plugins, and then let me see. Okay, the other parts we'll just talk about essentials, even though we are not going to install it. We'll just talk about the essentials, but let's go. So plugins here, we have about 20 more minutes, give or take. So, let's try to maximize it. So we have plugins here. We've already mentioned are little apps that help you achieve what you want to do. You saw on the front end when we looked at the contact, we found out that we need a form. We need a form to achieve something here. So plugins actually help you and give you the functionality, extend the functionality of the website basically. So if I was looking for a form, or I was looking for if I was looking for a security plugin, right? I could say, I could click on add plugin. When you're on here, you see that there are so many. Okay, you might not tell this, but when I search for forms. So when I search for forms, there are so many forms, but you just need to make your choice, whatever feel comfortable using, that makes it easier for you. So you see, we have WP forms, Forminator, Ninja, Contact, one of the oldest. That's why you see 10 million active instances. So one of the oldest, Fluent Form, so many, right? So like I said, all up to you, like what you want to achieve on your website. So you go to Page builders. I talked about page builders briefly, where I said that there are so many page builders like Elementor that helps you in websites. It helps you drag and drop. Like I mentioned, you don't necessarily stage. You don't necessarily need to know like how to code, but you could do like the drag and drop feature. You can use the drag and be able to create whatever it that you have mind to do. So going through this list, you still find out that there are so many other page builders here that you can use. Okay, it's not just restricted to the ways. I can recommend that you use this, but I'm not going to say oh, it's a must that you use it. No, there are so many things that you can explore. That's why it's open source. There are so many things you can explore. If it don't work for you, you can go to the next thing and use the next thing. So I mean, the cars, people who sell cars say full option, Abby. They say so. You have a lot of options to go through. So plugins, like I said, helps you extend functionalities of your website. So something briefly that I want to touch on is the essential plugins that you need on your website. Sorry, about to lose my voice. Okay, essential plugins you need on your website. My notes here says think of them as assets. So I've already talked more about that. So we are not, so you need security, SEO, performance, and backups. The reason why you need some other things, but like the title said, is essential security because it will help you guard against malware and spam, brute force logins, right? Backups, very, very critical. And when you're dealing with clients, let's say clients pay you monthly as a retainer to maintain their websites and take care of their websites. Backups is something that you should not joke with. So backups just essentially makes it easier for you that whenever something happens, you can go back to a previous version. Go back to a version that works. So you don't want wahala from and all that. SEO just basically helps you rank on Google. It helps you rank on Google for whatever keywords your Google helps understand your content. So SEO is also one of the key plugins out there. There are so many. So just like we talked about, so many plugins to use. There is the Yoast SEO. There is Rank Math, SEO Press. I think all-in-one SEO. There are so many. Performance, yes. So performance key thing as well that I don't know how many of you have had the website optimization. So with website optimizations, you need some plugins, and sometimes necessarily you don't need plugins. You need to at least cut down on some things that you have on your website, like images that are heavy to load, and they're changing their formats from PNG or JPEG to WebWP. So, but that's a conversation for another day. Just something that helps you with making the website faster. How many of you go to a website and it's taking so much time to load? It's taking so much time to load. It means, in a way, sometimes if that's the case every time, then it means that the website is not up. The website is not up. So no person wants to be on a site that it's taking forever to load. They'll go off. So if they are prospective clients or something, and I search and that's on your website, I click website, takes a long time to load, more than 30 seconds. My mind, I'm just like, okay, let me look for somewhere else. Yeah, so that way people lose prospective customers or clients. So performance is very, very important. That's why I had to list like these 4 important things. That there are other things, but these ones are things that should not that you should not joke with. So I think we pretty much were able to do a little bit of justice to just the foundations of installing and WordPress on your laptop. So this first foundation will help you just look into, okay, I've installed WordPress on my, let me go through the different things that were mentioned during the section, the post, tinker with the things that are on there, the posts, the pages, the themes, the plugins. Just go through it. The more you do that, yeah, it gives you insight onto like the in and out for your WordPress dashboard. So, I don't know. Is there anyone with any questions so from like what we've done? See. So anyone with question about what we've done? So if there are no questions, let me see. Okay, no questions. No questions at the moment. No questions. I think at this point we would have to night. We'd have to call it a night and end the section here. So subsequent topics we'll deal on would be shared, like I mentioned, on meetup.com as well as the WhatsApp platform. We're just going to just share the link and you get access to it basically. But even you can search for WordPress Port Harcourt on YouTube. I think you should be able to get the video playlists on there, so you can be able to just like go through this, and I think that's pretty much what it is. Any announcements? Oh yeah. So and would soon start planning towards next year's WordCamp, and the reason why we're starting on time is to be able to give attendees who attend, good event, good content that they leave knowing that, okay, this is something that I can expect. Also be on lookout for that. The I would mention is I'm trying to remember. Is our outreaches for Report and Ignatius would also, but that would like at a later date gradually to it, because people who would go there to it's called people who would go there to like do like a one-day section with them how to create headers, footers, homepage basically. So all those things might not, like, you cannot be able to do everything in one way. So, but to be able to give them a tip of the iceberg of what possible can do on their own. So that's something that will come on later on in the year. We have about, like, give or take, to go how many more the year ends. Would also communicate that it's time for that, so show up. The last thing as well is we have people. Yes, Maria. I think Maria is not on the call anymore. So, but I think a couple of persons are in the house who know WordPress, and like you have something that you teach us. Please feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach me. I know some of the say, "Oh, this is basic. This is just like the primary thing." You understand? So, one of the things that they're looking at, advanced users and intermediate, they're looking for like higher types of workshops. So if you have like ideas, you have things that you love to teach us, I mean, more than happy to facilitate that and that up, so that we have a good time. And from you, okay, I can see the names of my bosses in here as well. Just try as much as possible to be available for that. Okay, so I mean, that's all for the section today. Thank you so much for being for showing up, right? For showing up, and I wish you a wonderful week ahead. We are soon going to start the week, so I wish you a wonderful week ahead. Have a good night's rest. So I'm going to send out the videos when we are done, like uploading and all that. So thank you much, and good night.